Hello everyone, this is RadTechShoe and I have some more Battleborn open beta gameplay for you, and in this video we're going to be looking at Oscar Mike. We're going to be going at the guy who looks like he was ripped right out of a Call of Duty video game, and we're going to go over his backstory and lore, and then we're going to get right into some tips and tricks that I have found to use Oscar Mike to the best of his abilities. He is actually surprisingly good. I thought he was going to be trash at first, but surprisingly he was deceptive. But the way I play him is very different from how I would play any other Call of Duty game. So we're going to get right into his backstory and lore, and the first thing I think that you should know about him is that he is a clone. He is not a naturally born human. He is a clone, what is known as the Mike clone. He was a bioengineered clone as part of the Rapid Deployment Corps' solution to the conflict over the Garden System. Apparently there was this great war a long time ago. Now, Oscar Mike has seen a lot of battles. However, he knows that he's a clone. However, he wants to hide that. He wants to keep it hidden. He does not want to let everyone know that he is a Mike clone. For whatever reason, I can't really figure it out, but he's had 17 years of service. Then he joined the UPR formally right after the Garden campaign. So he and his best friend is Montana. Apparently, they served together a long time ago, and since Oscar Mike has joined, and been alongside Montana, they've been inseparable, best buds since. And that's actually one of the lore pieces I actually did not get. I apologize, but there's one lore piece here that I did not unlock, and that is something that I thought would have been very easy, and that is play 5 games on the same team with Montana. You'd think that would be easy because I see Montana all over the place. When I was playing as a Rendy and Miko, Montana was everywhere on my team. There was almost no game where he wasn't either on my team or on my enemy team. But when I started playing as Oscar Mike, it was very difficult to find teammates that would play as him. For some reason, I just couldn't. I had no control over it. There was just something beyond my control. So I apologize. But basically, yeah, that's the only piece of his lore that I did not unlock, and that's the one that's called From Your Best Bud, where you play 5 matches with Montana on your team. However, much to Mike's effort, Captain Galt is very well aware that he is a clone. I don't think he really seems to care. I don't know what the consequences are if it becomes public knowledge that Oscar Mike is indeed a Mike clone. I think the name kind of gives it away. But for whatever reason, Oscar Mike feels the need to keep that information hidden as much as possible for as long as he can. Like I said, I don't know what the consequences are if it becomes public knowledge and that everyone knows that he was a clone from a long time ago, essentially a clone soldier. I have no idea what will become of that. But Captain Galt is very well aware of it. He knows it. And the last piece of information I have for you on Oscar Mike's lore is that he hates spiders. He hates them a lot. He has a severe case of arachnophobia, and at one point Montana suggested that if Mike wants to fit in, he should go to like a public event, kind of like a program where, like social gathering and stuff like that with other people in the unit and stuff like that. And Oscar Mike was like, okay, sure, I guess, whatever. So he goes to one of these events, and they're having like a poetry jam, or a poetry slam, as it's called in the actual, lore data banks, or whatever it is. And so Oscar Mike writes a poem that is called Why I Hate Spiders. Like, he writes a poem on it. His hatred for spiders is deep, and it seems unrelenting. So I have no idea what brought about this unnaturally strong hatred and fear of spiders, but Mike absolutely detests spiders. There's no way around it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. He hates spiders and with a passion. And that's really all I've got for the lore of Oscar Mike. Now that we're done with that, we're going to move on to the tips and the strategies that I have found that work best with Oscar Mike. It's a very different approach from how I would expect to play someone like him, but I did manage to have great levels of success with him, and you're going to see that in this gameplay right here as I tear it up with him. And just bear in mind that Oscar Mike is going to be one of those characters that requires a lot of patience. It took me several games to become somewhat, adept at figuring out, okay, this is how I need to play him, and so on and so forth. So Oscar Mike definitely takes a lot of patience, but with a little bit of with a little patience and a little luck, you'll get the hang of him pretty quick, and you'll be able to do good with him. So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about Oscar Mike is his assault rifle. He carries a standard 30-round assault rifle, and half of the rounds in every magazine do bonus damage. However, there is an augment that you can use. I forget the exact number, which one it is, but it'll essentially double the amount of rounds that deal bonus damage, and since half of the rounds in each mag already do bonus damage, that essentially means every round in every mag will do bonus damage. So you're in a sense doubling the damage that he would normally have, doubling the bonus damage that he would normally have access to. That is an amazing augment, and the assault rifle, you're going to have to get proficient at it. If you suck with assault rifles, Oscar Mike is not the one for you, but if you want to learn Oscar Mike, you're going to have to learn to be proficient with it, because this is going to be how you deal a lot of damage. This is how you put people down. The grenade launcher, your R1 ability, is great for dealing initial damage and like pretty much reducing them to, getting rid of their shield completely. And one thing I like about his R1, his grenade launcher, is the fact that one of the very first augment you get, you can choose to make it so that the grenades detonate on impact instead of bounce around, which is something that I go for because I want to be able to deal damage initially and not hope that the grenades don't bounce in the wrong direction, because if they take a lucky bounce, that means less damage for my opponents and an increased chance of them surviving and an increased chance of them killing me. So that is definitely not something I don't want to give my opponents chances, so I choose to have my grenades detonate on impact. That's just me personally. I go for increased number of bonus damage rounds in each magazine, and there's even a mutation that allows you, Oscar Mike, to deal 18% increase, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it is 18% assault rifle damage increase. That means your assault rifle is going to be packing a lot of heat now. So it's definitely in your best interest to become very proficient with this assault rifle. Now, I've gone over the main assault rifle, his bonus round damage, his grenade launcher. The next ability I'd like to talk about is his L1, his stealth activation, when he activates his stealth suit and he goes invisible. It's very useful for sneaking up on enemies, and one of the augments I choose is that when he activates his stealth suit, his shield immediately begins recovering. It's a defensive maneuver. You've seen me do it already. You're going to see me use it a lot. It's a great maneuver, so if you're in a gunfight and you quickly get around the corner, pop your cloaking device and just let your shield recover, and that way you can pop out your shield. And you can also, not only that, but a further augment further down the helix tree allows you to increase the rate at which the shield recovers, which is during stealth mode, which is also good. So there's so many abilities, there's so many augmentations that complement his abilities and each other so well. I was very surprised that Oscar Mike had so many abilities that seemed to just, flow with one another. This was very good. Now, the last ability that I'd like to do is his missile strikes, where he pretty much, his triangle ability, it's his most powerful attack. He rains down a shit ton of missiles from the sky that deal a bunch of damage within a certain radius. You've seen me do it. You're going to see me get a multi-kill with it at the very end. I think I even get a triple kill. But Oscar Mike can do it. I was surprised. I'm not going to lie. I was surprised. He played very well for me when I was doing this strategy right here. I get up high. I get the high ground. I pick a good sniper spot, and I pretty much control. I play a control. I don't rush. Rushing has led to bad results with me. You saw earlier my fight with Benedict, where we were both fighting, and we were both long-range, mid-range fighters. So rushing opens up the opportunity for people to get close, and Oscar Mike does not do well close. If you are firing against enemies that get too close, I would suggest moving side to side and hip firing. If they're too close, just hip fire. Don't bother about ADSing, because you move slower and you turn slower while you're aiming down sights. So I recommend hip firing and jumping around and just try to stay alive. Activate your stealth suit, retreat if necessary. I use Oscar Mike's stealth suit. I use that camouflage so much just to reposition myself, just so I can get a better vantage point. It is so good to use the stealth suit to recover the shield, get a vantage point, you know, calm down, relax, reassess the situation, look at the map, figure out where I am in relation to my opponents, and then just proceed. And flanking is also fairly good. That's one of the best things about the stealth suit, is to flank your enemies. You know, like go invisible, run around the corner, call in your missile strike, and then immediately fire a grenade launcher as the missiles are raining down, and then after the grenade launcher pops, you know, just start laying into it with your assault rifle, and you'll kill a lot of things very quickly. I am not lying. Oscar Mike is definitely a surprise pick. I was not expecting him to be as versatile. I honestly expected him to be very weak. I thought, and when I initially played with him, I tried playing aggressive. I tried rushing, because the game says, like, you know, he can be used for rushing. I found him to be very bad at rushing. That's just me personally. I prefer to get to a high position, maintain the high ground, and just shoot down at my enemies for several reasons. One, it makes me a slightly harder target to hit, because if I have the high ground, I have a better angle, and I could just like back up a little bit, and all of a sudden my body starts to disappear from their line of sight, and I can head glitch. Another reason is my missile strikes and my grenade launcher. Having the high ground for my missile strikes and my grenade launcher, and now allows me to be much more accurate with those abilities. Because if you're on the ground level with everyone, it's very easy to shoot past someone with, I mean, you see right there, I almost shot past Toby right there. I mean, I almost overshot it completely. But right here, we're just going to finish him off, and, you know, we're not going to let him get away. But the big problem that I found with the grenade launcher and the missile strikes were that it's very easy to shoot past your opponents when you're on the same ground, when you're on the same level as them. So one of the biggest tips I can have is use the high ground, use a vantage point, and just pick your spots. Be smart. Be more of a supportive defensive character. Like you see here, I'm mostly guarding my half of the map, and at the end of the game, when you look at the in-game stats, you're going to see I did not slack off. I was no slouch. I was no pushover. I kicked a lot of ass in this game alone. And it was all, this just reaffirms my belief. Now, this is my belief. I'm not saying that people can't rush with him and people can't do good while rushing with him. Some people can. I have found that Oscar Mike is very good as a defensive player, as someone who holds the high ground, defends his half of the map, protects his teammates, picks off enemies from a distance, you know, can call out people. Like if you're playing on a team and you're on a mic, you know, Oscar Mike can go invisible, move up to a sniper spot without being seen, because he's invisible. You know, it's very difficult to see Oscar Mike at a long distance when he's invisible. At close range, yes, you can see the movement, but at long range, it's very difficult to find out where I am, and so, you know, to find Oscar Mike and just pick them apart. It's very, very difficult. And as you can see right here, the missile strike it's just nothing more than a deathbringer. Their entire team is wiped out, and I took out 3 of them, and I got an assist on the 4th. I mean, come on. You can't say that Oscar Mike is not putting in work here in this game, and it's all about the strategy. Like I said, thus far, I don't think I've encountered characters who are initially extremely terrible. It's just all these characters have their own different playstyle, their own different abilities. You can't rush with every character. You can't play defensively with every character. You're just gonna have to be a bit more patient. You gotta be calm. You gotta stay calm. You gotta realize that not every character is gonna excel the way you want them to, or even in a different game mode. Incursion, Oscar Mike is pretty good. In Meltdown, not so much. And that's only obviously from the beta, because those are the only 2 game modes I was able to play as Oscar Mike. But Oscar Mike is pretty good at holding down fortified positions. I'm able to stay invisible, hold good positions. I have a great weapon for it. I have range, I have damage, I have the ability to retreat and reposition myself with invisibility at great ease, as well as ambush. Don't hesitate to flank every now and then, just to catch your opponents off guard. If they think I'm up here, because I'm always up here. I'm always up in this high spot right here. And they know that I'm up here. I mean, look at Toby. He is just trying to light me up, but I'm able to head glitch. And when they expect me to always be up there, it enables me to flank. They leave their flanks open because they always expect me to be up there. And it allows plays like this. It allows me to catch them off guard, flank them, and look at that. I just forced 2 players to retreat immediately. Granted, they were Thorn and Toby, until Toby comes back and he pays for it. But bottom line is, Oscar Mike is not to be underestimated. I think he's a decent, solid mid-tier character. I don't put him in the same category as Umbra, because Umbra is great at mid-range, is great at close range, and can hold her own against multiple people at close range. Oscar Mike, I would strongly recommend that you avoid close range engagements at all costs. He does not excel at them. You know, up against Umbra or Diande or Wraith, or Wrath, however you pronounce it, I just got destroyed. But by controlling the range of engagements, by picking my spots, kind of being a Dark Corner McDougal, picking my spots, being smart, flanking every now and then to keep my opponents honest, to let them know, hey, you know, I'm not just going to sit in one spot the whole game. I'm going to flank if you guys, you know, drop your guard. You know, use your stealth to come up here and line it up and just watch this. Look at the death that I unleash. I mean, so much carnage is brought down. Oscar Mike is not to be underestimated. And that's really all I've got to go. That's really all there is that I have to say about Oscar Mike. He's a great character. Look at that, 21-1. I die early right off the bat, but once I start playing defensive, I hold my position. I hold the spot on my side of the map. I hold the high ground. And Oscar Mike, you know, they couldn't kill me. I retreated when necessary, repositioned, flanked. I did a lot of stuff. I didn't just sit in one spot and just get easy kills. I flanked, I outsmarted my opponents, and I played to my character's strong points. And my opponents could not handle that. My opponents had no characters in their arsenal to counter that play. So, Oscar Mike, that's the best advice I can give for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay and my commentary. If you did, please don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, comment down below, follow me for more, follow me on Twitch and Twitter, and I will see you guys all later. This is RadTechShoe signing off.